Good morning, everyone. So, as promised, today is the day that I'm going to show you my new baked ziti recipe that I formulated earlier this week. I wish you guys could be in here and smell everything because it is smelling so good in here. No, this is not my kitchen. This is just kind of like a prepping area I use. But in my kitchen right now, in this huge, big steel pot, there's these beautiful tomatoes and all different colors of peppers. And I'm boiling them because then we're going to mash them down to make the base of the sauce. Now, this sauce today is also going to include a second sauce, a homemade from scratch, creamy, rich Alfredo type sauce. And then I'm going to combine them. So I can't wait to get it done. It's going to be full of shrimp, chicken, sausage, and a little ground beef. I'm going to take the rest of my ground beef and package it and seal it up to make burgers later on in the week with. But this is going to be an amazing dish. I cannot wait for you guys to see it. And I can't wait for me and my family to end up tasting it later as well. I'm probably not going to show you every step, but once I finish getting things kind of prepped, I will start to show you things. So let's get into it. Be back in a bit. All right, so lots of steam, so I'm going to stay back so my phone doesn't get messed up. But if you look in there, if you have a look, you can see all the beautiful colors coming together. There's a tomato and there are the peppers. And this is going to become a sauce. I'll be back soon once it's time to mash these down and get things going. Right now, in about 30 minutes, I'm about to begin preparing the second sauce, the Alfredo sauce. And then we're going to get to the meats. All right, guys. So first things first, we made more butter. And now what we're doing is, in case you can't tell, purple is my favorite color. I'm going to show you all my Christmas decorations on my blog later on this week. They're all purple too. Even my lights on outside my house are purple. But what we're doing right now is we're using my handy dandy masher. And we are beginning the process of mashing up the tomatoes and peppers that are going to be in our sauce. I left just a very small amount of the water in there. That was, really small, just so it would help to build the sauce base of it. Now, I start with these fresh ingredients because I feel like it gives it a fresher taste. But other things that are going to end up being added to it, of course, are the Alfredo sauce I'm going to make. And we're also going to use the Whole Foods basil pesto. And we've got some Hunt's diced tomato. And we've got a couple of cans of Hunt's, let me show you it. I know y'all know what this is, of the Hunt's tomato sauce. Now, I'm probably only going to use one of these, 1.5, because what we really want to do is just give a little tomato flavor to the Alfredo sauce. You've probably seen it when you've gotten blackened Cajun pasta, and the sauce is more of a light orange to a pinkish almost. Basically what we're doing is blending a tomato pepper based sauce with our fresh Alfredo sauce. Now when I make the Alfredo, now I say that, but normally for Alfredo I would be using Parmesan and Romero and mozzarella to build my sauce. This is going to be more mozzarella, Gouda, and I forget the other cheese I bought. But it's going to be slightly different than the Alfredo, where it's going to give the color and probably still the close taste of an Alfredo because of the pestos and other things I put in here. So I'm just going to keep mashing this till it's a nice, pretty smooth. And I'm going to see if I can get in a good enough shot, even though the steam might prevent it, for you just kind of to see the sauce. There you go. You can tell this is my favorite pot. Look at all that wear and tear on it. But there you have it, the sauce. So I'll be back in a bit. And we'll be getting into things. I think the next thing up for me to do, truth be told, is to get ready in the next 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, to add the shrimp to our chicken. First, I'll be taking the chicken breasts out and chopping them into smaller parts, putting them back in, and then adding the shrimp. And we'll go from there. I'm using frozen shrimp this time, but if you have a bigger budget than I had today, please get fresh shrimp. But this is still going to be good. So I'll be back. Look, you'll see flecks. That is the minced garlic. And I'm also going to add onion powder to this. And I also added some salt. So I'm going to go grab my onion powder, but I just wanted you to see that once you've like emulsify it, mashed it up pretty good, then you add your minced garlic, because it's going to continue to cook on low. So you want to, until you add the other sauce to it. So you want to add your minced garlic. I usually use the Spice World version, and your onion powder, and you want to cover it back up, and salt, because tomatoes need salt, and so do peppers. And that's pretty much where we are right now with this first layer of the sauce production, and I just wanted to show you guys that. Hello, hello, hello. So we're back. Excuse me, the seasons are about to make me sneeze. 1 second. So, what we have here, let me show you very quickly. What we have here, if you can see those, is the chicken breasts that are going to be part of the sauce. And I've got them in my slow cooker, and I've seasoned them so far with some Sazon and some Old Bay, of course, some regular salt, and a garlic herb mixture. And I'm going to let these cook, because then I'm about to run over to my food processor in a few minutes. And what I'm going to do in the food processor is make a wet seasoning to go on top of these. Normally I would have done that last night, but I didn't do it this time. And so, 1 second. We want to cover these, of course, while they're doing their thing. And I'm going to turn them down, like I want low and slow right now until I get the other season made. So right now, I'm going to put that right at about 250. In about 20 minutes or so, once I've made the wet seasoning and have it spread on there, I'm going to come back and I'm going to turn this up to about 350. And I'm going to keep checking it till it gets to the level of tender that I want. And then I'll take them out and I'll chop them into small pieces for the sauce. But before I take them completely out, also at this 20-minute or so mark, I'm going to go ahead and put my shrimp in here to steam too, so that these two flavors mix. Then at some point today, I'm going to brown the ground beef and the Italian sausage in a separate pot. So this is actually going to build a very, very interesting sauce. And I'm probably going to have to go to the store tomorrow and get some better way of storing things. But we'll see. The grocery store I shopped at did not have pans big enough. But this is going to make a really good sauce. And in fact, you know, if all of it doesn't get baked in the ziti, then what I'll do is I'll use it and freeze it and store it to use on another pasta dish. Like, that's the great thing about having the ability to freeze things. We can make fresh food, and then one day when we don't feel like cooking, or we are going to cook, we already have a fresh sauce made. So right now, other than going to check on my tomatoes and peppers, which I think in another 30 minutes or so I can turn them down and start mashing them and adding the other ingredients to them, what we're going to do is go make our wet seasoning. And let me show you what's going to go in that. So, pardon. Here you see the things that went in on the chicken originally, right? And then we're going to use some oregano, some Italian parsley, my favorite, green onion, and this garlic butter spread that was already prepared at the store. Of course, I know how to make my own, but hey, I'm also going to add some shallots. So I'll be back in a bit. Back. Just want to show you something very, very quickly before I get going here. So this is the mixture that's going to get ready to go on top of our chicken. And hopefully we have enough room to put some on the shrimp too when it goes in there, or we'll just stir it in. But this is that rich, creamy garlic butter, olive oil, fresh parsley, fresh oregano, store-bought minced garlic, fresh scallion, some pepper, a little salt. And so yeah, I'm getting ready to go and spread this on the chicken. Be back in a bit. I'll show you what it looks like once I spread it on there. Turn Janet down so the folks don't get me for copyright. All right, so here we go. If I haven't mentioned it, and I know you don't see me doing it because I'm doing it in between, wash your hands. Keep your hands clean. Don't want to make people sick. All right. We're going to take some with our wooden spoon, and we're just going to spread it evenly on each one of these. This should give such like really, really good flavor. Let me bring you over, and then in a bit, I'll really, really, really show you what I'm doing. But just so you can see, we're just going to spread this out on there. You do want to be really careful about cross-contamination. You don't want to make people sick, so be really, really, really careful about the containers you use and the spoons you use. So in regard to what I said about the shrimp, we're not going to do that because that would cross-contaminate poultry with seafood. So what I have to do is make another batch. But at any rate, I do want you to see this. I'm going to show you now how beautiful it looks. Bring in here so you can get a good gander. See that? Beautiful, right? Beautiful. So what I'm going to do now is cover this back up for a bit and turn the heat up so this chicken can really, really, really begin to slow cook. We want it extremely tender. There's nothing I hate more than chicken breast in a sauce that's tough. I'm already not crazy about chicken breast, but it's preferred in sauces. Sometimes I use thigh meat, but I don't feel like deboning no thighs today. So today we're going to use chicken breast. All right. So now I'm going to turn this up to 350, and we're going to let it start. And then eventually I'm going to have to mix some more mixture. And then we're going to put shrimp in. So I'll be back. And in case I don't show you me putting the shrimp in, because it's nothing really exciting about me pouring shrimp in, but I will tell you how many bags it's going to be. I have 3 bags. I haven't decided yet if I'll end up using 2 or 3, because I like to make sure people really get a good amount of the seafood also in the sauce. So we'll see what the ratio of the different meats ends up being to the shrimp and how much I should use. But it's going to end up getting Obey on it, of course. It's going to end up getting a fresh batch of garlic seasoning butter on it. And it's going to go in here. And we just want to cook the shrimp until they're a pretty pink. So they are the last thing to go in here because they don't take nearly as long as the chicken does. So just remember, do not put the shrimp and chicken in at the same time. You will have overcooked shrimp and it won't be good. Okay? Just make sure you don't do that. So I'll be back. I'll be back. Back, and hopefully they don't get me for copyright infringement this quick. I mean, this is going to be the quickest video ever. I just wanted to show you a little bit of what the chicken's looking like. I'm not going to keep doing this though, because I'm interrupting the cooking process by showing it to you. I didn't put my hair up today, but when I'm cooking larger meals and meals for everyone else, of course I do. I've explained that already. But today, this is just a meal for my family, and to date, I have not put hair in any of my family's food, so I think we're good. But today, I just feel like keeping it down and being cute, okay? But anyway, here we go. Let y'all see that. See how beautiful they are? Pretty, right? I'm going to close it now and just let all these seasonings and herbs do their thing. I'll be back in a bit. And as usual, there's my daughter photobombing me at the refrigerator. What we're about to do now is we're about to chop up some of, it's so dark in here today. I do apologize. Let me try to open the blind on my back porch. See if it gives us more light. Not really. I apologize. There, that's a little better. All right, so what I'm going to be doing now is I've got my little pitchfork, as I like to call it, and my knife. And I'm going to turn you a little bit this way so you can see. Hopefully there's still enough lighting. I forgot to turn Janet down. Don't want the good old copyright people to start tripping over there at YouTube. For those of you who don't know, I do also have a YouTube channel outside of this blog, but you guys should know that because it's the very first thing mentioned at the top of my blog. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start chopping up bits and pieces of this. Looking good, looking good. And I'm going to turn this heat down now back to 250 because what's going to happen is the shrimp's going in. We don't need the shrimp to cook at that high of a temperature because it'll be overcooked. All right? So I'm just going to break these pieces up. Y'all saw me do something similar to this if you watched how I made my burrito tacos a few months ago. Just going to keep pulling these apart. These are some really kind of big chicken breasts. Now, sometimes what I do is I take my butcher shears, butcher scissors, for those of y'all who don't know what that means, and I cut my chicken up prior to cooking it. I did not do that this time. Today, I figured this would be easier and more time effective for showing you guys things. But you've seen me do that in another video. I'm trying to remember what I made that day, but again, if you go through all the videos and or blog entries that are on my website, saucesbestcatering.com, or find my YouTube at saucesbestcatering@gmail.com, you'll be able to see whatever that recipe is. I make so much stuff all the time. Sometimes it's really hard for me to remember exactly what the heck I cooked when I did a certain step or a certain thing. But we're going to continue doing this. And I'm going to turn this off because I don't want to make the video extremely long. But I just wanted you to see what I'm doing. When we come back, I'm going to have poured the shrimp in, added more of the butter, garlic seasoning, and Old Bay, and we're going to close this up again, and we're just going to keep it on slow and low. I got an earlier start on dinner today, so I'm in no rush, and this is it is complex in the layers of flavors that we're building, but once you get all the layers made, it's a fairly easy kind of thing. I still need to do the beef and sausage, and you guys will see me do that a little later. All right. We are now stirring in the shrimp and the Old Bay and the garlic escalon allspice and the onion powder. Look how beautiful that is. Look at this mixture. Oh, it's going to be so delicious. I cannot wait till it's done. But we're just going to keep doing, we're going to stir it. I added more of that garlic butter sauce. That's that richness you see, that color. And this is going to become part of a cream sauce. But for now, what I'm about to do is cover this back up. and we're going to let it cook. I wish you could smell in here. God, it smells so good. But we're going to let this cook for probably about 20 to 30 minutes. We just want these shrimp to become a beautiful pink. And then we're going to add them to the pot where the tomatoes and the peppers were. And yeah, this is going to be a delicious, delicious baked ziti. All right, be back soon. So I had to walk to the store for a second. You know, I had to get my little liquor store running. So I noticed, like, why is she cooking this in a wok? Well, because the wok is the only pot I had big enough to hold these sausages right now. We are going to turn it down some, though. And we're just going to keep tossing these until we get them nice and brown on all sides. I have another pack to go. But honestly, I'm not even sure if we'll need the other pack. We're about to see how it goes. Because we are also using ground beef, and you see that there. The shrimp and chicken mixture, great. I tasted it. It is superb. Superb might be an understatement. It's just buttery and rich. Some of the other components that are going into the sauce that we've been talking about are heavy cream and some evaporated milk and plain yogurt. This is going to be like a very rich and beautifully creamy dish of baked ziti. Not the usual red baked ziti and just marinara sauce like myself and so many are used to. Like I said, this is a sauce is the best recipe. I came up with this myself. I'll be sharing it on the blog also. But I just wanted to do something that was a little over the top, out of the box, and would give you a lot more flavor to taste as you were going along. I've also come up with a recipe. Somebody else might already be doing something similar to it. Of a burger that we're going to call the Sauce's Best Burger. It's going to be huge. Oh, it's going to be delicious. And it's going to be a burger, but it's also going to have another meat on it also. It's going to be really good. I should be making that probably sometime in a video after the holidays. But, as always, remember, wash your hands. I've been doing it even if you haven't been seeing it. I'm actually at my sink like every 10 minutes in here, honestly. I'm one of those people who I don't like anything under my fingernails. I don't like the feel of slime. But once I touch meat, I wash my hands anyway. But yeah, we're just going to saute these. We want to get them a nice brown. It's not as easy as it would be in a flat skillet, but I'm making it happen. Show you it. We're just going to keep rotating them because even the sides of the wok have heat. So we're just going to keep rotating and rotating and rotating until all sides of this turn a nice golden crisp brown. And I'll be back in a bit once these are more done. And I'll be transferring them to a metal tin pan so that I can get to the ground beef or to the rest of the sausage. I'm not sure yet exactly if I'm going to put more of these in or not. But yeah, this is going to be a tasty ass recipe. So, alright, be back. Alright, everyone, I am back. So, what I've got now, we just got done with the sausages. What I've got now is the ground beef. Now, this is probably about 3/4 of a pound of ground beef. And I have some minced garlic, some onion powder, the garlic, escalon, allspice, and this steak and meat seasoning. Now, let me tell you something. To my non-ethnic brethren, salt and pepper is not just seasoning. I'm in the market for some new, I'm trying to create a smart kitchen here at my home with a lot of tech gadgetry. And I've been watching some review videos and watching people cook with these gadgets that I want. The TM6 and the Bravo oven, right? And the Philips pasta maker, although I'm still going to get a KitchenAid mixture and the attachments to make fresh pasta of different types that Philips thing won't allow me to do. But I also want a sous vide machine. But I also just want to, I want to have as many gadgets at my disposal that can help me cut time and be as great as I can possibly be, right? Precision cooking. What I will say is that I just watch so many people in these videos talking about seasoning, and they only pull out salt and pepper. No. Every, and I hate to say it, but every black, Latino, or Hispanic chef, maybe even Asian, knows that salt and pepper do not constitute just seasoning. Like, you tell one of us that, we got like 10 other things on the counter that we're grabbing. Case in point, look at all of this. And I got some more over here. Like, we don't just use just a couple of like salt and pepper. My pantry's so full of seasonings. That's why all this stuff is out here, because I don't have space for anything else. Like, that's how serious I am about building flavors and seasoning. So yeah, please use more than just salt and pepper. I know some fine chefs who are experts, Gordon Ramsay and others, would be like, no, just salt and pepper like on steak and stuff. Nah, I use more than that, and my steak slaps. So trust me, you can use more than that. It's fine. But I just wanted to, have that talk with y'all, because salt and pepper alone, unless we're eating cucumbers and tomatoes, we need more love than that, y'all. We need more love than that. But I'm just going to finish browning this ground beef. And then, honestly, at that point, I'll be ready to start building this. There's one more step I need to do first before we really get to building sauce. I've still got to make the cheese sauce that's going to go in this. So y'all will see that. Honestly, I'm so proud of myself that this is the earliest my family's probably ever eaten dinner. I actually got an early move on it this morning. So, yay me. But I'll be back soon, and you guys can see what we're doing. And I hear my teenage daughter in the other room ripping open our Christmas banners that go on our house. So I'm probably going to take a break and help hang those. But I just wanted y'all to see, that you can create some really good stuff with more than just salt and pepper. I'll be back. I'm about to start building the sauce. So I just want to show you what's going to go into the Alfredo sauce. Now at the end, I'm going to add this pesto and stuff. And I'm going to also add the diced basil, tomato, oregano in the end. But right now, what's going in the sauce is Gouda, Italian 6 blend, mozzarella, provolone, more mozzarella, more Gouda. So basically, those are the main cheeses. And shredded carrots and spinach. And of course, you cannot create this sauce without butter and also without cultured whole buttermilk. So I just wanted to show you what is going into this. Oh, and the other important thing to make it extra creamy and rich, your plain yogurt. So I'm about to start beginning the sauce. I'm going to let it cook low. You do not want to cook cheeses on high. They will scorch. You'll have burnt, nasty tasting sauce. So we're going to do this low and slow. And I anticipate we are about an hour and a half away from actual serving and plating. So this is going to be delicious. But I just want to show you all of what goes into something like this. Don't try to be cheap and cheat out your chef of the payment they are due. Just for this one dish, this one meal that I'm making that probably will last my family the week, or I'll freeze it. Just these ingredients for just this cost $258. Seriously. We got a couple of other things, but mainly all of it was supplies just to make this a very good dish. This is gourmet baked ziti. If you cannot afford this budget and you want some tips on how to make it be more cost effective, I would say just go with a basic Alfredo with only one meat. Eliminate any seafood, or just do a marinara sauce and some cheeses. But I wanted to go all out because I wanted this to be like a stunning recipe that trademarks me. And I'm also going to be breading and deep frying some small little cuts of chicken breast that are going to go on the top to bake with cheese on top of this pan. So this is going to be a really pretty dish, and I can't wait for y'all to see it, and I can't wait to taste it. Into your Alfredo, that's very, very, very important. Lots of butter. And I just wanted to come back and tell you guys that before we forgot it, because that has to be in there. You're not going to get that wonderfully rich, creamy taste without it. I decided I don't need as much of the cheese as I thought, so that's great. So now I have cheese for other dishes this week. But lots of butter. Lots and lots of butter. I've got the carrots in there. I'm going to add the yogurt and the spinach now. And once you've added the spinach and the yogurt to the mixture, spinach cooks down. So you probably need lots of it. That's why I tend to use pretty much the whole container of it. I have always hated the taste of spinach, but I love it. Hated the smell of it, but love the taste of it. And I buy baby spinach. It tends to be all I can find at the stores here. Back home on the Eastern Shore of Maryland, where people grow things like that, you can probably find way more. But, you know, speaking of the Eastern Shore, I will be on the Eastern Shore of Maryland February 8th through the 12th. So make sure you're checking out my site and my menu and getting ready to place some orders, along with selling in 2 big gobs of yogurt as well. When I'm there, I will also be trying to book personal chef jobs. So if you want a romantic dinner for 2 or a birthday dinner cooked for you and your wife or you and your family, I'm not cooking for families larger than 5 when I come. But yeah, like totally I'm down for that. So again, visit my site. There's a contact form there. My menu's there of all the different things that I cook. And if you don't see something on the menu, you can ask me, because there's not much I can't figure out how to make. I'm just one of those natural cooks and I love it. So the last thing we're going to add to this, I don't know if everyone does it. I like to drizzle just a little olive oil because of the spinach that's in there. And now I'm going to turn this on low heat after I stir it, because you want to stir your contents, because that milk is on the very bottom, the whole buttermilk, and we don't want that to scorch. Your spinach is going to create some water, which will be helpful actually and make this more of a liquid that's easier to pour. This then gets mixed with the red base sauce I made earlier, and then we're going to add all the meats. And then the last thing I have to do after that is to begin to cook my pasta. So that's where we're going to go shortly. Once everything else is done and we've got the sauce going, we are going to commence to cooking the pasta, and then I'll be making the trays of Baked Ziti. It's going to be a delicious dinner. I'm so excited for everyone to see this recipe. It just came to me one night when I was sleeping, and I couldn't be more excited about it. Now, what I'm going to do, I like to add just a little water, not much. I mean, when I say a little, just a little. Wow, that's it. Like, I don't know, that's maybe 1/4 of a cup of water. Just because I do want it to have some liquid to it, other than just the milk that's in there. But 1 second here, and I'll show you what this looks like before it's begin heating and be turning into a liquid. Our Alfredo base, so to speak, is not a straight Alfredo. It's not made out of things traditionally found in an Alfredo sauce, but this is what's going to become the white part of the sauce. This is going to be delicious, y'all. Be back soon. Oh no, when my mozzarella melts, it becomes stringy. So what I do generally when I make my sauce, it takes more time. But what I do is I turn my oven on, and I preheat my oven, and then I put my sauce in my oven for about 20 minutes or so. I find it gets rid of that stringiness. So, but what you have to do is, and I'll show you, when you're making this, you have to be stirring. If you are not stirring, you're going to have scorched cheese at the bottom of your pan. It's going to ruin your pan, and no one wants that. I know I don't. I hate when my pan gets scorched because this is a fairly new pan too, so I would be really upset. But you just need to keep stirring. I keep it on like 4 or 5 on a gas range, somewhere like medium to medium low. And you just want to keep stirring. And you want a really nice creamy sauce. And if you see, we're getting there, but we ain't there yet, which is why in a few minutes we're going to remove it from this and we're going to do a bake. Well, not a bake, but we're going to put it in the oven to where it'll heat more consistently throughout real quick. And like I said, you're not going to leave it there long though, because otherwise you're going to end up with baked cheese. You don't want that either. But I just find that whenever I use mozzarella to build a cheese sauce, heating it up in a liquid in the oven makes it smoother and creamier. That's my personal preference. Everybody cooks different, but I found it works for me. So we'll be back soon, but I just wanted to remind you how important it is to stir. I'm sorry, that's my cat. To stir when you're doing this, because otherwise you're going to end up with burnt, scorched cheese. No one wants to taste of that in the sauce. So just remember to stir. Keep it medium to medium low, not on high heat. Do not cook cheese or a tomato-based sauce on high heat ever. It'll splatter or it'll burn. Don't do it. All right, I'll be back soon. I am. Now I'm going to show you this real quick. This is when we've added the Alfredo sauce to the tomato and pepper sauce, all right? So the next thing that's about to happen, I have my sausage and ground beef mixture. That is going in, all right? Then I'm going to be leaving you guys and going to the kitchen to get some of the chicken and shrimp in here. Not sure if we're going to get it all in here, but we're going to see. But right now what you want to do is you want to stir what you have here thus far up together. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. And then I'm going to go and concentrate on getting as much of the other mixture in here. And I'm probably going to end up freezing or just keeping the other in the fridge. But I want to show you what we got so far. So if you look in, this is once we mix that sausage and ground beef into this mixture. Look at all those beautiful colors. So when I come back in a few minutes, what you'll see me do is add shrimp and chicken to this. So I'll be back shortly. So I just want to show you this. I have my seasoned little pieces of chicken breast filet. I have a container over there with egg wash in it. I have a Italian style breadcrumbs. So what we're about to do is bread these babies when we're going to deep fry them. I'll be back with the finished result. These are going to lay on top of the bed of ziti and bake with cheese and tomato on top of the ziti. Okay? I have the chicken all breaded in the Italian style breadcrumbs. And that is going to be going into my fryer. You see it's a double fryer, pretty good size. I got it off Amazon. I love it. It makes good stuff. It's got 2 baskets. I'm just waiting to make sure that the oil is hot enough. For the chicken, you want it to be at 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit. The dial on here is in Celsius, so you put it on 180. All right, so I'll be back to show you the finished result. And then we are actually getting ready to mix this ziti up and put it in the oven. I've had my oven preheating for a little while now at 350 degrees. I expect to need to bake it about, we'll say, half an hour to 45 minutes. And I've got some store-bought, already manufactured garlic bread that I'm going to be heating up and also serving along with this. Okay, so I'll be back soon. Guys, look here. I have the chicken, almost like chicken tenders, right? All brown. Now, they are not done all the way through, and that's because, remember, they're going to bake along with this baked ziti. And white meat gets dry. So I did not cook them all the way through. I just cooked them long enough in the deep fryer to get this nice brown crust on them. But yeah, you don't want to cook them until they're done, because remember, they're going in the oven like another 30 to 45 minutes, and you'll have As the song says, chicken that tastes like wood, for those of you who are old enough to remember. So we didn't want to do that. You just want to put this nice brown coating on them. It's almost like searing a steak before you put it in the oven. Don't cook them till they're done. You just want to do this, seal the flavors in, seal some moisture in, and then you're going to layer them on top of this ziti. I'm about to set the tripod up now so that I can go back to what I call my prep area so that I can show y'all the mixture before it goes in the oven. All right. If you are looking for the usual quick ziti all of us are used to making that we can mix and make in just a little while, this ain't it. This takes some work. I have been cooking this all day just to ensure that there are lots and lots of layers. So if you want, we'll call this like gourmet baked ziti. This is some next level baked ziti, all right? So I'm stirring it up. I still have a lot of sauce left too, which is great because I can make other things out of it. Not sure what. Maybe loaded baked potatoes, maybe more pasta, who knows? The possibilities are endless. So you just want to stir this and get as much of this sauce in first as you can, because, and hopefully not stirring it over the edge, right? Because what we're going to do next is we're going to begin adding these cheeses and this pesto to it. So I'm actually going to lead with the pesto. All right? Break that suction using your knife or a fork or a spoon, whatever is more comfortable for you. I am a pesto fool. My family loves pesto, and my bestie, who's Sicilian here in Atlanta, she loves pesto too. So the more pesto, the better. But you know your own family, you know your guests. Pay attention to their requests. You don't have to follow my recipe exactly. I got these through Amazon Prime grocery delivery. Amazon Fresh is what they call it. Amazon's been really disappointing this Christmas season, just messing up a lot of our family orders, but that's another topic. But at least the grocery store part seems to work, right? So this, along with the olive oil I showed you earlier, are Whole Foods products. As some of you may remember, Amazon partnered with Whole Foods. So yeah, there's that whole thing. All right, so you just want to stir the pesto throughout. You want to get it as evenly distributed as you can. All right, right now we're about 45 minutes out from dinner, other than me also still needing to heat up the garlic bread. So we're probably actually about an hour total away from dinner. I probably might want this to sit a little bit before I take a picture of it for you guys. I think my family's ready to eat though, so they're going to eat it even if it's hot and running. You know how with lasagna and pie and things of that nature, pot pies even, you kind of have to let them sit and settle a bit so that they're just not a sloppy mess on a plate. I don't want to take a bad pick for business. So, yeah. So, I got it as distributed as I can, I think. All right. Now it's time for us to add our cheeses. Because what is a good baked ziti if there's no cheese, right? So, the first thing we're going to add, we're going to do more Gouda cheese. All right, so we can stir that in, and then what gives us the stringiness of it all, the gooey, is the mozzarella. So we're going to add more of that. We're going to break that apart. Mozzarella tends to lump. I think it gets warm when you're waiting to cook. Oop, make a mess. I have so much to clean up later on the night after cooking all this, and I gotta kind of clean out my fridge and freeze some things to even have room in there to put this tray of fabulousness and that extra sauce in. So you want to try and get this cheese spread out as much as you can. Now what's going to go on the top of this after I put the chicken and the tomatoes, what's going to go on top is some provolone cheese. All right. Sorry. Waste not, want not. Good. So we're just trying to mix and make sure we get as much cheesiness throughout as we can. We don't want all the cheese to just be sitting in the middle. Leaving that little bit of broth in from the chicken and seafood has given this so much flavor, like you wouldn't believe it. All right, so you just want to spread this out nice, like this. Now what we're going to do is add our layers of tomato. I'm going to go drain the water out because I don't want any more water in there. So 1 second. Cooking is a messy task, right? But someone has to do it. So I think 2 cans of this should be enough because I'm going to spread these. Just want to give it a nice spread out here. This is going to be so heavy. I hope I can get to the kitchen with it. All right. And the next thing we're going to do is just place these beautiful pieces of chicken. Remember what I said, don't cook them all the way through when you put them in the fryer because they'll be overcooked and dry. So just remember to watch that. All right, so we got our provolone. Use as much or as little as you want. I want cheesy, so we're going to use as much as we can. I'm going to cover this in foil when it first goes into the oven. And then for the last 20 minutes, you want to uncover it so it can get a nice brown crust to it, if that makes sense. Kind of the same way you do lasagnas, okay? I'm going to give it a beautiful sprinkle of parsley so that it has beautiful color when it comes out. And pretty much that's it, other than now what I'm about to do with the whole covering it in foil and getting it in the oven. You have to kind of keep checking it. I'm hoping it's done in 35 to 45 minutes, but it is a lot of layers. Might take longer than that. If it takes longer than that, that's okay. It might take as long as it needs to for you to end up with a really, really, really good product. All right, be back soon to show y'all the finished plates. The finished product, I use my Petite Cuisinart Panini Press Griddler to get this garlic bread beautiful like this. And here is the finished version of my rustic Baked Ziti recipe. Hopefully you have time to blog tomorrow and get the video edited tomorrow, if not Tuesday at the latest. Thank you so much for tuning in and for supporting me. I greatly appreciate it. We're all done. Here's the finished product. It's always so hard to do this like on my own, but there's the Baked Ziti. And there is the garlic bread. Hope you guys have a great rest of the holidays. I don't know if I'm going to do a cooking video per se of me cooking whatever I cook. We usually do Asian food for Christmas. Weird, right? But that's what we do. But what I might do is just do a quick video talking to you guys and then finish up and show y'all the finished spread, because doing the video and cooking Thanksgiving was exhausting. So I don't think I'm going to do that again. But I will be doing an introductory video telling you what I'm making and also doing a video of the spread when it's done. Happy holidays. And here's to look into a much better 2020 for all of us. My hair is a mess because this has been a lot of work today. I started out cute, but now I'm just frazzled. But thanks again from Charlene Sauce of Sauce's Best Catering. Peace and love. Bye-bye.